darlings, welcome back to PinkOddBird. Today we are carrying on with our no buy, no dye, create on the fly series. You can check out the videos that have come before this one here. We are starting a process where we're using everything that we possibly can think of in our stash without having to expend any additional energy or funds to buy or dye items or all of that great stuff. We're just creating with what we have on the fly. So today we're going to carry on with our ephemera, and the video for today was inspired by one that I watched by Ruby and Pearl XO. And Ruby and Pearl, they were making some wallpaper tags, and I knew that I wanted to use wallpaper, so I got some inspiration from Ruby and Pearl. So of course I have my cardstock here, which is going to be the base for my tags. I've got wallpapers here that were just, I have many more, but I'm going to start with these. And then I also have some book pages off to the side. And then of course, as usual, I've got a bunch of fabric scraps, which I will use to decorate with a little bit of texture. And then we'll be making our own hole enforcers. I can't remember if that's what they're called. I think that's what they're called. For the tops of the tags, just like Ruby and Pearl did. And I will link that video in the description box below, so you guys can check it out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so to get started, I just have some random cardstock that I found in my bins where I showed you guys I kept my paper. There's a gray one and two beige. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go ahead and get these used since they were there. And I'm going to start by cutting them down. Honestly, you can cut these down to whatever size tags you want. So maybe like about 6 inches, let's say, tall. And then we can just cut them down to whatever width you would like. I'm going to do mine about maybe, I don't know, 3.5, something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be what you want it to be. So we got those there. And then these here, I guess they're probably 11 inches. So I'll cut these. Actually, no, I was going to do some tall ones, wasn't I? Oh, no, you know what? I'll cut these down to 5.5. I guess I'm not going to do any tall ones. And then here we'll do, I don't know, maybe right there. And we'll just cut these down to a size. I don't mind that they're going to all be different. Like, that's totally cool with me. And I like it that way. It doesn't have to be completely measured. They're just tags at the end of the day. And in case my sister is watching this, they're also tags at the beginning of the day. All right, so I'm going to cut this last little piece down. And now I have the base. All right, and I think maybe on some of these, I'll leave them as squares, kind of like we did on the other tags that we made not too long ago. And then on some of them, I will cut them into tag shapes. I guess there's really no like rhyme or reason. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna leave these all square. That's what I'm gonna do. So now to get started, I think the first thing that Ruby and Pearl did was start putting the wallpaper down. So I'm just gonna cut some here. And I am going to sew on mine, so remember that I don't glue all the way to the edges on mine because I don't want the glue to mess up my machine. So if you are not going to glue on yours though, just make sure that you glue all the way to the edge, especially because the wallpaper is going to naturally want to curl. Most wallpaper is folded in some fashion. So I'm just going to get some glue down first. And I think I'll glue across because I think I might put wallpaper across the whole piece. Like this. And then I'm just going to burnish it down. And then what excess I have here, I'm going to use on the next tag. Or tags. So I'm just going to cut it down. It's another rainy day here today, here in California. And so the sun is not terribly bright today. So it makes it a little bit tricky for me with the shadows and the fact that the wallpaper wants to roll. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Very cute. And we are going to do some collaging with our book pages and such. So I'm just going to take some time here and get the wallpaper down on some more of these tags, and I will meet you guys back here. I'll try and leave some of this recording for you because I know there are so many of you guys who love to see the process, and I don't blame you because I think it helps the time pass, you know, especially if you're crafting along, or maybe you get some other ideas that maybe you didn't think of, blah, 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 or just nice companionship. All right. And I think in Ruby and Pearl's video, the wallpaper was like wrapped around the edge, but to do these in a little bit different way, so we put our own spin on it, right? I want the tags to be functional, so I think I'll either just leave them plain on the back because, like, especially these are really heavy-duty cardstock. These are moderate, but still heavy enough to be like left okay to be like, you know, a tag on its own, so that they can be written on the back. Of course, I'm going to distress them, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that little excerpt in there. And it doesn't have to cover the whole tag. Like, for example, I have this little piece, and maybe we'll just glue this on here, or maybe I'll do it this way. Maybe I'll do it in the middle. I don't really know. We're going to be collaging on them, so it doesn't really matter how you have your base of the wallpaper down. Just, you know, put it down and put it logically, I guess. You know, don't do something that's going to make it too difficult for you, because then I feel like you might spend some time trying to think about, okay, now that I did this, what do I do? You know what I mean? And since these edges are going to be plain, I'm just going to discard them because I don't have a need for that. And we don't need to be, we're trying to use our stash, not add to it. And heaven knows I don't need any more scraps of anything. All right, so we got that one, very cool. And then I have a different wallpaper here. I'll also take some of this. This one's textured, so that's kind of neat. Like where this lace is, it's textured, so that's kind of nice. All right, so maybe I'll just do like a side piece, maybe something like that on the side, and then do some collaging. It's like, it really doesn't matter, you guys. Just, you know, work with what you have, get creative, but just, you know, keep moving. Don't let yourself get frozen. The back of this one says bath. This is going to be the bathroom wallpaper. Alrighty, cut this little piece here. And we'll get some more down here. Looks good. Cool. Oh, it's perfect. Just about. Just about. Yeah, there we go. That one was literally perfect. One little piece up here. Not too shabby. Cool. Oh, we got many here, but that's good because you guys know I need to get these books like really done, and making the ephemera for either, I'm not sure if this is going to be 3 books or 6, but making the ephemera for this many books takes a long time. So, yeah, I need to try and get these books done ASAP. So maybe we're going to be picking up the pace here, or making like a few more things like in mass so that it can spread out through the book a little bit more. Or the books, I should say. Because we got to get these books up, up, up. I actually got this wallpaper at an estate recently, and the person whose estate it was a very artsy person. Like did a bunch of like drawings and paintings, just very creative and artsy. And so this wallpaper, I feel like it's perfect because, you know, it's getting reused in some art by a person who was also an artist. So kind of a neat little spin there. Okay, then on this one, we'll just add this little strip, maybe to one side, maybe a little high-low. We'll do some collaging around it. It's totally fine. Cut off the excess. All right, I'm trying to go as fast as I can because I know you guys want to see the full process. But I just don't know if the repetition gets a little redundant for you guys. So that's what I'm always worried about. All right, let's do one of these here. Cut some more of this. This one's really pretty. I've had this wallpaper, oh, I don't know, at least 4 years or 5 maybe. So it's pretty high time. It is high time, I should say. Okay, I'm going to give a little pause here. I'm just going to keep continuing doing the rest of these with the little pieces of wallpaper, and I'll be back when we move on to the next segment. All right, so we've got the wallpaper down now. Also, what I was going to say is if you don't have wallpaper, you can use any other thing. You can just use like book pages that have images, or you can use, like if you have the Tim Holtz wallpaper packets, that would also be really cool, which I do have that as well. But I mean, I've got a really good amount of regular wallpaper. Who knows, we might come back and make other wallpaper projects, but that's here nor there. So we've got some wallpaper down, and now I want to start taking some of my book pages that I have here off to the side. I've got, I don't know, just some random type of book pages, and I'm just going to start adding these on in different areas. So just gonna start adding some glue. Again, I'm not gluing all the way to the edges on mine because I will be stitching. Although I do want to try and get this edge down because I don't know that I'll stitch across the tag. Probably not. And I agree also with what Ruby XO was saying about the wallpaper being a sufficient focal point because it's just really pretty. So, I mean, you can add other elements if you want to have something else as a focal point, but I'm just going to do the textiles, and I think it's going to look really, really pretty. All right. Just like that. And then we're obviously going to come back and do something else here, but we'll get there step by step. Ooh, baby. To you, girl. Hey, girl. Oh my gosh. Okay. Too much. So now I am going to go back to doing this to make sure that these edges stay down. The ones that I do want to stay down. For sure. Like so. Burnish. And then I'm going to cut the excess. You could do all the excess trimming at the end if you want. I kind of just, I don't know. I guess it depends on my mood. Right now I feel like doing it as I go. Okay, and then I'm going to keep going. That will be good. Like so. Oops. No, don't bend the tag. All right. Looking good, coming together. I'm gonna switch it a little bit and use some different types and styles or whatever I have here. Some variety. Looks so good. So if you've got a variety of different kinds of book pages and stuff like that, now's your chance. And if you don't have like book pages and stuff like that, feel free to use like scraps. Like if you have scrapbook paper, things like that, absolutely, totally usable. You should use them. Because it's going to help your stash and your sanity in the long run. And I think when Ruby was doing these, there was a lot of like tearing of the pages and such, but I don't know. I guess I don't really do that too much. However, there are times when I will distress the edges of the tag. So I guess same thing, tomato, tomato. Tomato, tomato. You can do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like. Bingo wingo. I just remembered when I was texting with Priscilla one day, Priscilla said, bingo wingo. And in my head, I was like, how did P know that? And P was like, I just saw you say that in your video. And I was like, oh. Oh, there's someone, and I know, and they call them Aprilisms. All my little Aprilisms. Gotta love them. Okay, maybe we'll do, I'm gonna kind of like this, kind of trim off this bottom piece. Perfect. Add some glue here. Ah, no. And then along the jagged edge. Perfect. Perfect. And trim the excess. Satisfying part. And I like it because you get to start seeing the tag like really come together. Just gives it that definition. Perfect. And here, let's see. I'm going to add some of this type font. I'm trying to see what these instructions were talking about on this thing. It's like some kind of, I think, a woodwork project maybe. Okay, looking good. All right, so I'm going to finish up these last few and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so we have our second round of papers on our tags. Now, the next thing that I want to do is we have some tags that have like a little bit of the base of the tag showing, some that are fully covered, and maybe that's okay. Maybe that's all it needs. And then some that I might want to add like a little something else like here or there. So in order to do that, I'm going to do like some tonal differences. So something like a little bit darker of a book page, or maybe like sheet music paper, or washi tape. So I'm going to go ahead and start running through and adding, I don't know, one of the three that I just showed to each tag. So let's go ahead and start with this one. So here, first of all, I want to glue this edge down a little bit more, particularly because it doesn't go all the way to the edge, and I want to make sure that one stays down. Easy peasy. And on this, I think this one would actually look kind of good with maybe a little bit of music paper. So I'm going to go ahead and add some sheet music to this one. And I'm just going to add glue here. How about there? And I also don't particularly need all this excess at the bottom here. So I'm just gonna do away with that. And trim it down. Oh my gosh. There we go. Cool. Actually, I think the tag goes this way. Well, yeah, we're gonna call it that way. So that's that one. That one's done. Well, for this part, this phase, I should say. So on this one, I think I am just gonna leave it as is. I'm not gonna add anything else to that one. This one, we will add, maybe we'll add, I think, a little music to this one as well. And I am going to glue a little bit more here and add some glue here. and pop some glue on the back. Like so. Perfect. Really good. Great. So that one is done. Okay. So on this one here, I think I may just add I think I'm gonna add some washi tape on this one. Yeah, very cute. I like this. And the question is, do I want it on the inside of here or covering? I think I'm going to do it on the inside. Well, maybe partially, halfway. Yes, cool. I like that. I wanted to keep the contrast with the lines, so that one's really cute. Okay, next. So we have kind of a bigger piece here, and I think for that I might just go with a little bit of our tonal difference book page, and this one is super califragilistic XP a la oldish. So we got to be careful with this one. It's a little tricky Mickey. There we go. And did I glue that top edge? I don't think I did. Oh. Oh. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, great. I had 2 book pages there and didn't realize it, but that's okay. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. So what we will do then is I'm going to take a little bit of, where did all my book pages go? Take a little bit of this one here. And I'm just going to add a little bottom piece. But this is what I mean when I say nothing is a problem. Okay, I glued down 2 book pages accidentally. Not the end of the world. And because of it, it left exposed pieces of my base layer. It's not a problem. Nothing to get frazzled or upset about. You just work with what you have now. That's all you gotta do, baby. And then for this middle piece, let's see, I could add another book page, but I think I'm gonna go with a little washi. And for this one, I'm gonna use this pink washi. And pop it right there. Easily peasily breezily. Cool. And this one is done for now. Let's keep going. Okay, on this one we have a few places so we need this side piece and then we have this bottom piece here. So for the bottom piece, I might just go with not quite wide enough, but what we can do perhaps is take some of our washi, and I don't know, I have this fabric washi here, and I probably will add a little glue under this one to make sure it stays down. But let's take a little piece of this, about right there perhaps. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue. And that's an optional step. It's totally precautionary. You don't have to do it. And let's put this down right at the edge. And run her up. There we go. That piece. And then now I have a good amount for this little bottom piece, which is perfect. So I'm going to add a little glue to the back and along the side here, and then on the base of the tag as well. And voila. Ah! Once again, told you this book page is really old. It's so fragile. Luckily, it tore where the wallpaper is, so I technically don't need to add anything else there. I can just leave it as is. It's going to be okay. It will be okay. If it's something that happens like that that really will bother you, that's okay. But it really just makes it look a little bit more aged. So if you wanted to, you could just cover it with a piece of washi or some other book page, but I'm going to leave it just like that. I don't mind. Okay, so here on this one, I think we're going to leave it as is. And on this one, same. This one, we've got a lot of space here, so I think I will add a little something to it. Maybe we'll go with some of our music paper. I think that should do. And add some here. Like ta-da. Yeah, today's really like day 2 of our rain extravaganza, but I thought today it was going to rain a little bit more than it did, so that's kind of sad. We only got maybe like, I don't know, 10 minutes of rain. And ironically, it was like exactly the 10 minutes where I needed to go outside, so ain't that great. So that one's done. This one here, we need to add something, so do a little music paper, I think, on this one as well. Add some glue. Great. I'm gonna add it to the last few, and then I will be right back here with you guys. Really quick, I just wanted to show you an example of this really old book page, and look at it's torn, just how my accidental one just tore as well. So that's what I mean when I say, like, it's not going to be the end of the world. Everything's going to be okay. It does not have to be exactly like pristine unless that's the way you want it to be. I don't mind like having a little bit of an aged, distressed kind of look to it. Just, you know, it's your own preference, but I just really wanted to show that because it's literally looks just like the one that I accidentally just tore, but that's the way that that one actually just is. And I am going to leave it just like that. All right, so we have all of the bases completely covered. Dun-dun-dun. And now I have pulled out some of these strip scraps that I always have, and I'm going to use my 1-inch circle punch. Hopefully these strips are at least 1 inch. Yay. Woo! And I think I probably need something smaller than 1 inch, but that's what I think that's the smallest circle that I have. And then my hole punch. Now let's see, I think the 1 inch might be too big for me, but let me see how it feels. Yeah, it does seem a little big. So I think what I might do is just, I know this is not going to be perfect because I don't know if I can cut a perfect circle. Nope. Let's see. I wish I had another punch, or at least something circle and small. Oh, maybe my glue stick. That might be a good tracer element. Let's see. Let's try it and see. Time to get resourceful. Where'd that yellow strip of paper go? Here it is. All right, I need a pen. I'm gonna try this, but I have a lot of tags and this might actually just end up taking too much time for me personally. But if you can do this and you've got the time, then at least we'll know if it works. Okay, so there's the circle. Now I'm gonna cut this out. And if this doesn't work, I actually have a second idea that will save me time. Okay, so that works, and that does look okay. Also, let me see. I mean, it looks fine, but what I think I'm going to do instead is all about the trial and error. I'm going to take my little strips like this, and I want to cut them straight. And make them a little bit shorter, maybe about 2 inches, or maybe about 1 3/4 inches. Let's start there and see. And then I'm just gonna fold it in half and burnish. And pop it over the top like so. Cute, yes. And I might distress this little piece before I put it on, because once I get it on, it's going to be hard to get these edges. Yes, okay, cool. And then I'm gonna glue this on. Like so. And punch my hole in then. Like voila. Voila. Okay? In the end, we're going to distress the whole tag, but for right now, I'm going to just get all of these little pieces on, and we'll get back to that step. All right, so what I have to do then is cut down a bunch of strips. So I'm gonna do that first, and then I'll be right back. All right, friends, so I went ahead and I cut out some strips. I did different sizes because some of my tags are a little bit more narrow and some are a little wider. So I tried to make sure I had some strips that were gonna be like wider for the bigger tags. So, and I've already distressed them. So now all that's left to do is add them to the tops of the tags. Super easy peasy. I really like this project as well. It's a good way to get that wallpaper used up. I know a lot of like collaging in these videos, but I think that collage tags make a really nice piece of ephemera for your books, I think. Okay, and I'm not really being too picky choosy. I'm just really judging based off size. And I know that I've already distressed these, so I don't mind if I have to go back and you know, trim them down and just re-distress or something. Get it nice and burnished. It's like a mid-size. Very cute. Actually, I'll use this one here. Just a few more steps to go and then we are done. And I know I'm trying to do as much of this on camera as I can, but the other reason why I have to kind of like stop and start is because my storage is getting really full, and so I'm not able to have like extended length videos all the time. So I don't want to cover that flower. I think it's really pretty, so I'm going to do this one off to the side. What was I saying? Oh, so I have to kind of like be selective with what I'm choosing to record, because otherwise I'm going to go over my capacity and then I won't be able to finish the video. So once I get my storage situation back under control, then I can probably do these a little bit more like full length, you know, for you guys, because I know you guys like to see the full process. But for now, I kind of have to do it this way until I can. I totally forgot that that was like another thing, until I'm like, okay, you know, I have to keep pausing because I got to save some space. And in order to save space, I have to save time. Okay. These are looking really cute. I'm going to go ahead and add these to the tops of the rest, and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, we're getting closer and closer. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is punch the holes in the tops of the tags. And we're just going to do that to each and every one individually. I have my thing set, so it's really going to punch them all like in the same area. But if you need to adjust yours depending on how your tags are, you can do that. I really like the way these are turning out though. I think they're so pretty. I think we have two more things to do, which is distress and stitch. And I'm going to add my textiles, which you don't have to add any textiles at all if you don't want to. When it gets to that part, like you can leave them just like this plain if you want. And then you can add your scrap fabrics, etc. If you want to add like some little ruffles, or maybe if you have some lace, which I think maybe we need to do some lace projects too, because woo, I got a load of lace. So we might do some of those coming up, but just some different ideas for what you can do to enhance these if you want to enhance them with some sort of textile. So here they are. I'm going to go ahead and take these over to my, actually, I'm going to distress them down first. And while I'm doing this, why don't you guys just take a poll in the comment section. Would you rather watch me distress 16 tags or paint dry? 1, 2, 3, go. Leave it in the comments. I'll be back, guys. All right, friends, so I've got them all distressed now. I'm going to take them over to my machine, and I'm going to probably just use like some of these same fabric scraps that I'm still trying to like whittle away at, or maybe some of my sari trims that I have over by my machine, and I will be right back. Alrighty, we're almost done. I've got them all stitched. Some of them I didn't add any textiles to because I just felt like maybe they didn't really need it. The stitching can speak for itself on some of them. Some of them I did add some textiles to. Just depends, like you can feel your way through this and decide based on your tags. For the toppers, I found this super, we're using another supply. We're using another supply. We're using another supply. And I'm sure a lot of us have buckets of this. And it is
seam binding.
And I have this really tiny, this is not seam binding technically, but it was in my seam binding bin. It's super tiny, so thin rickrack. And I can't think of anything else that I would use this for. other than maybe like a tassel, because, ooh, can you imagine gluing this down? Ooh. So I'm going to give myself a couple of little knots with this seam, rickrack, I guess, and cut it down. Cut this one down a little. And there we go. Very delicate. You could do more than one. You can do multiples, but I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. And I'm going to go ahead and add some more of this to a few more, and I'll switch over to the pink one. And then, friends, these tags are Dunzo Onezo. What I'm doing, instead of, I mean, you can tie these down to the top of the tag. Yeah, you can. I just don't want to run the risk of tearing the top of my tag. So on some of them, I'm just leaving like a little space like this, which is okay too. You can do that if you want to. Either way, it's your own preference. You know, and I've had these sitting in my drawer for ever. So this one, I will let it touch down to the tag. It's just really your own preference. I just don't want the knots to tear the tag, and I also don't want to not make the knot tight enough. Do some of them switching it up. And just like that, friends, we have made it to the end. Here is the finished product. I love the way they turned out. I think they're super cute and they're functional because you can write on the backs of these if you want to. You can also, once they get into the books, you can glue them down to make them pockets, anything like that. You can also collage even further on top of them, add your own pictures, anything like that, receipts, any memorabilia that you want to keep. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's project. I did. And I'm really happy that we were able to use a variety of different supplies from our stash in this project. So I think that is going to wrap it up for me for now. Be sure to stay tuned because you never know what direction this odd flock of ours is heading into. And until next time, toodaloo.